This is Nebraska Farmcast, a production of the Center for Agricultural Profitability at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. I'm Ryan Evans. The price of fertilizer continues to be on the minds of many producers, but there may be better news ahead and some relief on the way. Professors Beghin and Lia Nogueira have authored a new article that looks at the latest price trends in fertilizer, as well as what's contributing to the fertilizer market and how prices are impacting affordability. Beghin and Nogueira are both faculty members in the Department of Agricultural Economics at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln and are both with the Clayton Yeutter Institute of International Trade and Finance here at UNL. Lia joins me here in the studio and John via phone. Thank you both for joining me.
Thanks, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, so you both have a new article. As I mentioned, it's up on our website now at cap.unl.edu. And Lia, if you could just start us off with a quick review of fertilizer markets in the last year or two, and if you could cover the historical significance of prices and then what's contributed to those, that would be great.
Let's start with the last 10 years. We observed fertilizer prices reaching low levels in early 2020 after about 10 years of relative stability and low volatility in prices. But then, by the end of 2020, fertilizer prices had sharply increased, and by 2021 had reached levels not seen since 2008. This sharp increase was caused by a perfect storm. We had supply shocks, we had weather events, plant closures, market structure, and high demand. Then, adding to that, in 2022, we had the Russian invasion to Ukraine and the trade policies related to war sanctions and export restrictions related to high fertilizer prices. And the result is fertilizer prices that are still high through 2022, even if not as high as during the peak.
Great. And John, then how do natural gas prices impact fertilizer markets? Because you write a lot about those in the article. Can you speak about how those impact fertilizer markets, and then how have recent natural gas prices impacted fertilizer costs?
Yeah. So you have basically two ways natural gas prices impact fertilizer prices. So the first one is that many fertilizer mixes contain nitrogen, and to produce nitrogen, you need natural gas. And so that's through that first essential link through the nitrogen, that's you impact fertilizer prices. And then the second way is that even for fertilizer that don't contain nitrogen, like TSP or triple superphosphate, you have processes to produce TSP that are natural gas intensive. So you have drying processes and processing processes to produce that fertilizer that are really natural gas intensive. And so those are the two ways natural gas prices impact fertilizer prices. And so what has been happening to natural gas prices, they have peaked recently, I would say, during the spring. And then they've been falling steadily. They're still pretty high, but so in Europe, for instance, they're around $35, $36 in November. Those are data that actually just came out about a week ago from the World Bank. And so they're down by about $30 from the peak of the early summer 22. And in the U.S. also now natural gas prices are about $5.28 per MBTU, down from almost $9 also in the early summer. So and then in Japan, prices are still quite high. They're almost near the peak of $24 where they were, and currently they're $22 per MBTU or million MBTU. To be more precise. But so those prices have been falling. They're still very high, but that has impacted positively fertilizer prices in recent months.
And if you can talk more about those prices, what are some of the latest trends in fertilizer prices, both here in the U.S. and around the world?
Yeah, so prices basically are following the same patterns with a little lag. So the price of DAP or diammonium phosphate is about $665, but down. TSP price is about $625, that's down, and the price of urea is quite down at $588. And so the from the peak of May, June, that's quite significant trend. I mean, it's beyond being unambiguous, and so prices have been going down. The price of phosphate rock has peaked as well. It's about $20 now below the peak at the end of November and the peak of the summer. And potassium chloride is still at the maximum level as reported by the World Bank at about $562 per metric ton. And so that's about the only price that has shown no decrease, but all the other prices have been going down and of course remaining at a high price level.
Great, thank you. And Lia, this article looks at the affordability of fertilizer and then how its price relates to crop prices. So can you just walk through this analysis and then any conclusions you both were able to draw?
Yes. So if we look at the ratio of fertilizer price to crop price, we see an increasing trend, which means that fertilizer per unit cost is increasing its share of the unit price of the crop. However, this ratio does not tell the whole story. As a share of gross crop value, fertilizer cost hardly shows any upward trend, and this suggests that the increase in the price of fertilizers relative to crop prices has been accompanied by a decreasing fertilizer use per bushel produced. So what we're seeing here is that farmers are being able to use fertilizer more efficiently, so they're using less fertilizer and producing even higher yields. So this trend clearly indicates a transition from the intensification of fertilizer use in crops in the 1970s to more fertilizer-saving technologies in the recent years. And we have, for example, soil testing, that it's more available. We have better fertilizer release formulations. We have improved technology to apply fertilizer, for example, split applying nitrogen or applying fertilizer through the irrigation system. And other technologies, precision agriculture has also helped farmers. So all of these technologies help the reduction in the fertilizer use without or even still providing very good yields.
Great, that's good news for sure. And your article is titled "Better News on World Fertilizer Markets." So, John, what's important for listeners to understand, especially if they're producers, what's important for them to understand about the good news to be found in fertilizer prices right now and perhaps even ahead?
Yeah, good news, I don't know, that may be an overstatement, but I would say better news in the sense of improving news seems to, I think, the crisis or that perfect storm that we have been experiencing, I think, is dissipating. So if you look at energy prices, they've been falling. Fertilizer prices, except for potassium, have been falling. The price of diesel, another key input, is also falling. Now it's lower than about $5 a gallon. So all those elements, I think, are contributing to a better outlook. If you look at the natural gas futures for next year and 2024, actually they show a downward trend towards like about $4 MBTU. And so that, also tells that the markets believe that I would say the storm is behind us, and so things are improving. So I think that's maybe the title was an overstatement with better, but we should have maybe said improving news from the world fertilizer market.
Yes, well said. And I think that anything improving in this area will be certainly taken by producers out there. So I want to thank you both, John and Lia, for spending some time with me today on Nebraska Farmcast. Again, you can check out their new article on better news in the fertilizer markets at our website, cap.unl.edu. Thank you again, both of you.
Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Nebraska Farmcast is a production of the Center for Agricultural Profitability at the University of Nebraska-Lincoln. For the latest research-based information and education resources to manage your farm or ranch operation, visit our website at cap.unl.edu. That's cap.unl.edu.